Yeah, it's fine.
We return, we return, we return, we return, we return, return again. We return, we return, we return, we return, we return, return again and again to love, to love, to love. We return again to love. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh yameinu kekedem. We return, we return, we return, we return, we return, return again and again to you, to you, to you. We return again to you.
Tzoharaim Tovim, good afternoon. We return to this space, to the work of Yom Kippur, I call it the work because it is. It requires us to show up. It requires us to be present. It requires us to engage. And we engage on many levels, whether it's holding on tight to the words of the liturgy, whether it's letting the sounds of the melodies enter into our bodies, or whether it's holding our souls in this space, vulnerable, unprepared, unknowing, and human. No matter how we show up for this work, it is work. And so we dive right in with Seder Kriyat HaTorah. We return to our scroll, to the very center of our scroll. We're on page 328. We give thanks today for a Torah of life, the way of kindness, mercy, and truth. May compassion be our source of sustenance now, as in our people's past. May our souls withstand times of crisis, and our hearts the inclination to evil. May the covenant of Abraham and Sarah strengthen our will to do what is right. May the qualities of mercy and goodness, love and forgiveness flow through our lives. And let us be strong in a perilous world. Let us open our hearts to the path of Torah. We rise.
Vayehi bin Soharon, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, V'yafutsu oivecha, V'yanusu misanecha, mipanecha, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah Torah, le'amo Yisrael b'kdushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh v'norah Shemo. Gadlu l'Adonai iti, u'neromem Hashemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hahod. Ki cho b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki cho b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Adonai hamamlacha v'hamid na'aseh lechol erosh.
You may be seated. We read this afternoon from Parshat Kedoshim at the heart of our scroll. If I give a little tilt, you can see we are right in the middle. That our text tells us we are to be holy, not just that we are to be holy, that we are holy. And that lives at the center of our text tells us so much. Holiness is a term that we often have a hard time holding on to, contextualizing, making real. one of the ways that we can think of holiness is as something that is set apart. And so if that is true, then we are set apart, and yet we are together. And these verses that we will read today, which you can find on page 338, our blessings are on page 330, these verses deal with how we are to treat each other, how we are to be set apart and together, how we are to be holy. So just as earlier today and at Rosh Hashanah, I'm going to invite you to stand in your place or to join at home for one of these aliyot if this category speaks to you. So for the first aliyah, in verse 10 of this parsha, of this section, it says, "You shall not pick your vineyard bare, and you shall not gather the fallen fruits of your vineyard, but to leave them for the poor and the stranger." So if this year it feels to you as though your vineyard is bare, as though you don't have anything left to give to others, I invite you to join me in this aliyah. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach, Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam vaed, Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam vaed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el kol edat bnei Yisrael, ve'amarta lehem kedoshim tiyu, ki kadosh ani Adonai Elohechem. Ish imo ve'aviv tirau, ve'et shabtotai tishmoru, ani Adonai Elohechem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. For this second aliyah, I have a hard time reading my own writing right now. For this second aliyah, we speak about, in this parsha, about judging each other and judging each other fairly. If you feel that you have been judged unjustly in this past year, this aliyah is for you. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach, Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam vaed, Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam vaed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Uvekutzrechem et kitzir artzechem, lo techale pe'at sadcha liktzor, ve'leket kitzircha lo telaket, ve'charmecha lo te'olel, uferet karmecha lo telaket, lani ve'lager tazov otam, ani Adonai Elohechem. Lo tignovu, velo techachshu, velo tishakru, ish ba'amito. Velo ta'asu, velo tishavu, vishmi la shaker. Vehilalta, et shem Elohecha, ani Adonai. Lo ta'ashok et recha, Lo ta'ashok et recha, velo tigzol, lo talin, pe'ulat zachir, itcha ad boker. לא תקלל חירש ולפני עיוור, לא תיתן מכשול, ויראת מאלוהיך אני אדוני. לא תעשו עוול במשפט, לא תישא פני דל, ולא תהדר פני גדול, בצדק תשפוט עמיתך. לא תלך רכיל בעמך, לא תעמוד על דם רעך, אני אדוני. לא תשנא את אחיך בלבבך, הוכח תוכיח את עמיתך, ולא תישא עליו חטא. לא תיקום ולא תיטור את בני עמך, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, אני אדוני. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. We speak of not bearing guilt on behalf of our neighbor, on behalf of any relationships that we have. And so if on this Yom Kippur there is a grudge that you are bearing, that you wish you could let go of, that you want to let go of, that you are in the process of letting go, but maybe aren't quite there yet, this aliyah is for you. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah. Mipnei seva takum, v'hadrata penei zaken, v'yareta melohecha ani Adonai, v'chi yagur itcha ger be'artzechem, lo ton'u oto, ke'ezrach mikem Adonai, mikem Adonai, ke'ezrach mikem Adonai lachem, hager hagar itchem, ve'ahavta lo kamocha, ki gerim haytem be'eretz Mitzrayim, ani Adonai Elohechem. Lo ta'asu avel b'mishpat, b'midah, b'mishkal, uv'msura, meoznei tzedek, avnei tzedek, efat tzedek, vehin tzedek, Adonai lachem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti me'eretz Mitzrayim. Ushmartem et kol chukotai ve'et kol mishpotai, v'asitem otam, ani Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. We turn to page 340 and we rise.
Vezot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe.
may be seated. We turn to page 342 for our Haftorah blessings.
Our Haftorah this afternoon comes from the whole book of Jonah. It's kind of a silly book when you read it. It's a crazy story, and I think what speaks to me this Yom Kippur about the book of Jonah is Jonah tries to escape his destiny. He doesn't do the work he needs to do, and it catches up with him. And the lesson we can take from that right now is today's the day. Let's do our work. Let's not keep fighting it and let it chase us around our year, but let's meet it. Let's meet it right here. And we'll start with those blessings on 342. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza b'divreihem hane'marim ba'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo Uvinviei ha'emet v'tzedek. Page 344. And the word of Adonai came to Jonah, son of Amittai. Get up, go to the great city of Nineveh, and proclaim against it, for their evil deeds have risen up before me. But Jonah got up to flee to Tarshish, away from the presence of Adonai. And he went down to Jaffa and found there a ship heading for Tarshish, and paid its fare and went down into it to head with them to Tarshish, away from the presence of Adonai. But Adonai hurled a great wind upon the sea, a storm at sea so great that the ship was in danger of being shattered to pieces. And the sailors were frightened, cried out, each to his own god, and flung the ship's cargo into the sea to lighten their load. But Jonah had gone into the hold, the lower deck of the vessel, and he lay down and fell into a deep sleep. And the captain approached him and said to him, "What are you doing sound asleep? Get up, call to your God. Perhaps the God will be kind to us, and we will not perish." And they said, each man to his companion, "Let us cast lots, that we might know on whose account this evil event has come to us." So they cast lots, and the lot fell on Jonah. And they said to him, "Tell us, you who have brought this evil upon us, what's your trade and where have you come from? What's your country and who are your people?" And he said to them, "I am a Hebrew. I revere Adonai, God of heaven, who made sea and dry land." The men felt great fear, and they asked him, "What have you done?" Because the men knew he was fleeing from Adonai, for so he had told them. And they asked him, "What should we do to you to bring calm to the sea around us?" For the sea was growing more and more stormy. So he said to them, "Lift me up and hurl me into the sea, and the sea will calm down for you. For I know that this great storm came upon you because of me." And the crew rowed hard to return to the dry land, but they could not do it, for the sea was raging more and more fiercely around them. And they called out to Adonai, saying, "Please, Adonai, please do not let us perish because of the life of this man. Do not hold us guilty of shedding innocent blood. For you, Adonai, that which you desired, you have brought about." And they lifted Jonah and hurled him into the sea. Then the sea stopped raging. The men revered Adonai. Great was their reverence. So they offered to Adonai a sacrifice and made vows. And Jonah provided a great fish to swallow. And Adonai provided a great fish to swallow Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. And Jonah prayed to Adonai his God from the belly of the fish. And he said, "I called to Adonai in my distress, and God answered me. I cried out from the belly of the netherworld, and you heard my voice. Into the depths you cast me, into the heart of the sea, and the floods engulfed me. All your billowing, breaking waves swept over me, and I thought to myself, I was banished from before your eyes. Will I ever again gaze upon your holy temple? The waters closed in over me, the deep engulfed me, rushes wrapped around my head. I descended to the low point of the mountains. The gates of the earth closed upon me forever. Yet you, Adonai my God, raised up my life from the pit. When my life fainted away, I called Adonai to mind, and my prayer came to you, to your holy temple. They who cling to empty folly forsake their own welfare, but I, with a shout of thanksgiving, I will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed I will fulfill. Rescue comes from Adonai. Adonai commanded the fish, and it spewed Jonah out upon dry land.
And the word of Adonai came to Jonah a second time. Get up, go to the great city of Nineveh, and call out to it the proclamation that I tell you. So Jonah got up and went to Nineveh according to the word of Adonai. Now Nineveh was a great city of God, 3 days' journey across. And Jonah started out and made his way into the city the distance of a 1-day walk. And he called out and said, 40 more days and Nineveh shall be overturned. The people of Nineveh trusted in God, and they proclaimed a fast, and they put on sackcloth from the richest to the poorest. And word reached the king of Nineveh, and he got up from his throne, took off his robe, put on sackcloth, and sat in ashes. And he cried out and said in Nineveh, by decree of the king and his nobles, no person or beast, of flock or herd, shall taste anything. They shall not graze, and they shall not drink water. They shall be covered with sackcloth, person and beast, and shall call loudly to God. Let all turn back from their evil ways and from the violence which is in their hands. Who knows? God may turn and relent, turn back from the heat of anger, so that we do not perish. God saw what they did, how they were turning back from their evil ways, and God relented from the evil planned for them and did not carry it out. But to Jonah, this was a great evil, and it made him angry. So he prayed to Adonai, saying, please, Adonai, is this not what I said when I was still in my own country? This is why I fled to Tarshish to begin with. For I knew that you are a gracious and compassionate God, endlessly patient and abounding in steadfast love, ready to repent of evil. And now, Adonai, please, take my life from me, for it is better for me to die than to live. And Adonai said, is it good for you to be angry? Then Jonah left the city, found a place east of the city, made himself a shelter there, and sat under it in the shade until he might see what would become of the city. And Adonai Elohim provided a gourd and made it rise up over Jonah to give shade for his head and rescue him from his evil situation. And Jonah rejoiced with great joy because of the gourd. But at dawn the next day, God provided a worm that attacked the gourd, and it withered. And as the sun rose, God provided an oppressive wind from the east, and the sun beat down on Jonah's head, making him faint. He begged for death, saying, it is better for me to die than to live. Then God said to Jonah, are you good and angry about the gourd? And he said, I am good and angry to the point of death. Then Adonai said, you pitied the gourd, which you neither worked nor grew, which appeared overnight and perished overnight. Should I then not have compassion for the great city of Nineveh, a place of more than 120,000 human beings, unable to tell their right hand from their left, and many beasts? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik bechol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, hamdaber u'mekayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al ha'nevi'im, ve'al yom ha'kippurim hazeh, Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu limchila ulslicha ulchapara lechavod ultifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umevarchim otach yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai tamid leolam va'ed udevarcha emet v'kayem le'ad Baruch atah Adonai, melech mochel v'soleach la'avonotenu, v'la'avonot amo beit Yisrael, u'mavir ashmotenu b'chol shana v'shana, melech al kol ha'aretz, mekadesh Yisrael, v'yom ha'kippurim. On page 352, we rise as we return the Torah to the Ark.
Hodol eretz v'shamayim vayarem keren le'amo tehila l'chol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Eitz chayim hi lama chazikim ba v'tomcheha me'ushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Eilecha v'nashuva Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
We remain standing as we turn to our Amidah on page 356.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, u'Mevi Geula livnei b'neihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava. Zochreinu lechaim, melech hafetz b'chaim, v'chotvenu b'sefer hachaim, lema'ancha Elohim chaim, melech ozer, u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah.
Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayeh hakol atah rav lehoshia, morid hatal, mechalkel chaim bechesed, mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim v'rofeh cholim, u'matir asurim, u'mekayem emunato lishenei afar. Michamocha bal gevurot u'midol melech, melech memit u'mechayeh u'matzmiach Yeshua.
Michamocha el harachamim, zocher yitzurav, l'chaim berachamim, v'ne'eman atah, l'hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol.
Page 406.
B'sefer Chaim bracha v'shalom u'farnasa tova nizacher v'nichatev lefanecha אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל לחיים טובים ולשלום ברוך אתה אדוני עושה השלום.
We continue with silent prayer through page 410. You may be seated when you are ready.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן.
Page 423. Failures of love. We sin against you when we hurt one another. For our failures of love, Adonai, we seek forgiveness. For exploiting another for our own pleasure, and for the wounds we cause through betrayal and deception. For withholding affection from those we claim to love, and for using love to control our spouses and partners, our children and parents. For abandoning friends and siblings whose love has sustained us, and for neglecting those who love us when they need us most. For harboring in our relationships mistrust, boredom, and disloyalty, and for rejecting our partner's efforts at repair and renewal. For possessiveness, jealousy, averse, and for lashing out in anger at those who are closest to us. We will rise once again as we offer Avinu Malkeinu on page 428. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, we have strayed and sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu, Ein lanu melech ele ata.
Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are our sovereign.
Avinu Malkeinu, aseh imanu leman shemecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name.
Avinu Malkeinu, chadesh aleinu shana tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness.
Avinu Malkeinu, zchor ki afar anachnu.
Avinu Malkeinu, remember we are but dust of the earth.
Avinu Malkeinu, tia sha'a hazot, sha'at rachamim ve'et ratzon milfanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, let this hour in your presence be a time of compassion and acceptance.
Avinu Malkeinu, chamol aleinu ve'al aloleinu v'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families.
Avinu Malkeinu, usei laman tuvchim al yechudecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for the sake of those slain for their devotion to you.
Avinu Malkeinu, aseh laman harugim al shem kodshecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for the sake of those killed because they were Jews.
Avinu Malkeinu, aseh laman ba'e va'esh uvamayim al kiddush shemecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for the sake of those who suffered fire and water to sanctify your name.
Avinu Malkeinu, chonenu va'anenu, ki ein banu ma'asim, aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed, v'hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love. Avinu Malkeinu, chonenu va'anenu. Avinu Malkeinu, chonenu va'anenu, ki ein banu ma'asim. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, v'hoshienu. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, v'hoshienu.
Page 432 in our Machzorim. So we come to Aleinu, this Aleinu known as Aleinu Hagadol, the great Aleinu. If you want, there is a lot of room here. This is the Aleinu where we prostrate fully on the ground. Invitation, if you want to join us, to really give your full self in doing this.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol latet gedula leotzer bereshit shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot kegoyei haratzot velo samanu כמשפחות האדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Can all be seated. Turn to page 516 in our Machzorim. come to Neila Yizkor. These I remember, stories of repairing the world. In the prayer book of the High Holy Days, which evolved during the Middle Ages, Neila Yizkor is a moment of poignant identification with Jews of the past. Through the poetry of lament, it recalls the martyrdom of 10 rabbis executed by Rome in the 1st and 2nd centuries of the Common Era, and it venerates those who were martyred. The legend of the 10 rabbis entered the Yom Kippur Machzor of Western European Jews during the Crusades, when waves of crusaders cut a path of destruction across Europe en route to the Holy Land. The Jews who survived found spiritual meaning in the stories of ancestors who had perished under Rome 1,000 years earlier in the land of Israel. Our ancestors believed that death atones for sin. Thus, they saw a connection between martyrdom and the Day of Atonement. But the traditional Neila Yizkor of the Middle Ages might also be read as a crisis of faith, presented annually as a challenge to God. Why do we, the innocent, suffer? What has become of the covenant? Where are you? Every generation tells the story in its own way. The Neila Yizkor and this Machzor frames the themes of life, death, and remembrance differently from that of our forebears. From the account of Rabbi Akiva's spiritual resistance against the evil of Rome, we turn to human beings who have lived in the more familiar, but no less treacherous terrain of modernity, and responded to extraordinary events in ways worthy of sacred remembrance. In Neila Yizkor, we recall men and women who responded, Hineni, here I am. They gave their lives while struggling to right wrongs, make peace, and save others from humiliation, harm, or death. We remember them today not as martyrs and not as saints, but as human beings defined by their moral choices, their sacrifices, their sense of responsibility. Theirs are stories of repairing the world, of Tikkun Olam. So I invite you now to open up your Machzor, to choose a reading or two over the course of the next couple of pages, and dive in on your own. In a moment, we will move into the Yizkor service, the second of 3 pieces of our afternoon of services here on Yom Kippur. It's a service about memory and remembrance and holding close the ones that we have lost. Traditionally, if you have not been a mourner, if you haven't lost someone close to you, you would not participate in Yizkor. You are certainly welcome to stay in the room, well, if you are here or if you're with us online, or to check back in 20 minutes if you prefer. Turn to page 540 in our Machzorim.
שלא ייגמר לעולם, החול והים, רשרוש של המים, ברק השמיים, תפילת האדם, החול והים, רשרוש של המים, ברק השמיים, תפילת האדם. Eli, Eli, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart.
I invite you to take a comfortable seat. This is not a day of physical comfort, but in this moment of memory, of sorrow, of calling to mind those who we have loved and lost, we take a moment to be comfortable. I invite you, if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, to do so as I lead us through some meditative moments of Yizkor. In this space, we remember our loved ones who are no longer with us. We hold their names in our hearts, and we call an image of them to mind. The longer we are graced with life, the more loss we know. Call to mind one face, whichever one arises before you, and hold them as a representative for all the other loves you have lost. Hold that face in your mind's eye. When we remember our loved ones, we do so in these prescribed moments, but also in other moments of life, moments both joyous and painful. And in those painful moments, we often ask for the support of these ancestors, of these loved ones who have died. Holding that image in your mind, bring forth something painful, something that you wish you could talk about with this person, and hold the conversation. Imagine how it will go. For some of these memories, some of these people, we have a deeply rooted sense of what they would say, what they would tell us, what wisdom they would offer. But the truth is, these people have passed on, and we don't know what wisdom they carry with them now. It is beyond our knowing. So rather than asking them what they would do, what they think you should do, instead, think about what this person was not able to do in their life. What would they have done if they could have? We hold these memories of our loved ones. We carry them through life. They console us. They celebrate with us. But ultimately, they are distant. They are not here where we wish they were. Our tradition teaches that the soul is eternal. One of the ways that we know the soul is eternal is through memory. We continue the eternality of the souls that we have loved and lost when we remember them. And we honor them when we move forward in our lives, not only in ways that they would have, but in ways that they could have. This year, 5782, may we let these memories of our loved ones move us into our lives. May they inspire us to do the things that they could not do, that we have felt we could not do. And may we carry that strength of their memory combined with our action as we head into this next year. We hold them close.
Shamayim va'aretz Ezri Me'im Adonai Hoseh Shamayim va'aretz.
Page 572. When we ask God to remember the souls of our departed at Yizkor, we request more than a mere mental act. We pray implicitly that by focusing on our loved ones' souls, God will take action on their behalf and save them from whatever pain they may be suffering wherever they may be. At the same time, the implication is that this act of remembrance also constitutes a guarantee of Jewish continuity, well beyond just those we remember and far beyond us as well. In remembering and in asking for God's remembrance, we request divine help in continuing our people's trajectory beyond ourselves, to achieve the ultimate aims of our people's history. Yizkor is, in the end, not a prayer for the dead, but a promise by the living. We take a few moments to make our way through the next many pages, offering different prayers and meditations for different losses. Baruch atah Adonai Mekor HaChaim. Page 579. Adonai, through all generations we have found our home in you. Before the mountains rose up, before the birth pangs of the earth, you alone have been with us, steadfast and constant for all time. In the end, you return us to dust, saying, "Come home now, daughters and sons of Adam and Eve, you are mortal. In your sight 1,000 years pass in an instant, like a fleeting watch in the night. But how brief the span of our lives. Our years flow by in a dream, we sleep away our days. In the morning we blossom in beauty, in the evening we wither away. Burnt like grass in the blasting heat of summer, we perish like chaff on the wind. A human life may be 70 or 80 years for those who are blessed with strength. So many days consumed by toil and troubles, then our time is cut short, and too soon we go into the dark. So teach us to number our days, that we may bring home a heart of wisdom. Give us a sense of your presence. Nourish us with your compassion. Knowing your love at the dawn of our life, let us live our days in contentment. May our moments of joy surpass the times of struggle. May we taste the sweetness of each precious day. May the work of our hands bring fulfillment. Page 585. If some messenger were to come to us with the offer that death should be overthrown, but with the one inseparable condition that birth should also cease, if the existing generation were given the chance to live forever, but on the clear understanding that there never again would be a child or a youth or first love, never again new persons with new hopes, new ideas, new achievements, ourselves for always and never any others, could the answer be in doubt? When we fear death's decree, let these bring us solace, the memory of loved ones who have gone before us, a vision of generations to come, through whom we reach far into the future, beyond our own lives. Sheyar Kishantecha Hema Yenachamuni Ta'aroch Lefanai Shulchan Neged Sorerai Tishantav Hashem en Roshi Kosi Revaya Ach Tov v'chesed yirdefuni Kol yemei chayai V'shavti beveit Adonai Le'orech yamim. Page 597. Our loved ones live in our broken hearts, and at times that brings some measure of healing. Their acts of kindness and generosity are the inheritance they leave behind. We feel their absence, but the beauty of their lives abides among us. As it is said, the name of one who has died shall not disappear. Our loved ones' names and their memories will endure among us. And these are the names on our lips and in our hearts of those we have lost in 5781. Stephen Lewis Asher, Justine Bonas, Robert Barocas, Anne McMahon Bogart, Marcia Miller Birdman, Brad Calderon, Mark Caston, Eleanor Esfeld Cohan, Everett Allen Dixon, A. Joel Eisenberg, Diane Foreman, Darren Neil Frank, Robert Frischman, Tommy Garcia, Angel Leonardo Garcia Ortiz, Stephen Gerson, Susan Charlotte Gerson, Betty D. Goldberg, Adele Rosenberg Golub, Bill Harris, Jerry Gerald, Aaron Hendon, Susan Morheim Jaffe, Martin Judovitz, Lester Cahan, Lawrence Ira Kahn, Barbara Joan Kaplan, Philip Kaplan, Thomas Kelly, Cindy Kazitsky, Joyce Piha Kligerman, Karen Knopf, Betty L. Libid, Harvey Marcus, Dorothy Myers, Bruce Michelson, Muriel Picard, Rebecca Prescott, Esther Quint, Jesse Reingold, Rita Lee Furman Robbins, Henry Roethlisberger, Jean Sadis, Kira Scheidt, Beverly Schoenfeld, Kenneth Jerome Schwartz, J. Norman Schwartz, Ruth Aldred Scott, Muriel Silver, Diane May Sternoff, Lionel Stutz, Betty Williams Solman, Samuel Tarika, Claudia Tarlin, Jerome Tarlin, Fred Tepper, Jennifer Lee Turner, Gerald Warshaw. We rise on page 598 for Memorial Prayer El Malei Rachamim.
El Malei Rachamim Shochen Bamromim Hametzei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei HaShechina Im Kedoshim Utahorim Kezohar Harakia Mazhirim Lenishmot Yakirenu Shehalchu Leolamim Bal Harachamim Yaztirem Beseter Kanafav Leolamim et nishmatam. Adonai hu nachalatam. V'yanuchu b'shalom al mishkavam. V'nomar Amen.
On page 606, we join together in Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabba, ve'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha barichu, le'ela ul'ela mikol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. You may be seated.
Matt, before you sit down, will you go see if anybody's out there and wants to come in for Neila? Thank you. Moving into Neila, the final service on this long, long day of Yom Kippur. We're almost there. Turn to page 612 in our Machzorim. The long day is over, and the gates are closing. Slowly, day fades into dusk. Soon the earth will darken. Our bodies weak and weary, our inner strength undiminished. This day has been a gift, uncluttered time, free from hurry and routine, appointments or assignments, a time to face our sins and imperfections, our dreams and yearnings for the life we want to live, a time to leave the clamor of the world and attend to the voice within. Long ago, the temple gates were locked at dusk. So too, at this hour, the gates of Yom Kippur begin to close. Have we done all that needed to be done? Said everything that needed to be said? The gates of God's compassion never close, but soon enough, our lives close in on us. Now in the silence of the soul, now before the holy day comes to an end, release the unshed tears, the deepest prayers locked in our hearts. Turn to page 614.
El Nora Lila, El Nora Lila, Hamtze lanu mechila, B'shat hanila, El Nora Lila, El Nora Lila, Matei mispar kruim, L'cha ayin nosim, Salatim b'chila, B'shat hanila, El Nora Lila, El Nora Lila, Shofchim l'cha nafsham, M'chefi sham v'chachasham, Hamtzi'em mechila, B'shat hanila, El Nora Lila, El Nora Lila.
We turn to page 622. For the Amidah, for the last time today, we offer this, our standing prayer, standing before God. Invite us all to rise.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo be'ahava, Zochreinu lechaim, Melech hafetz b'chaim, V'chodfeinu b'sefer ha'chaim, L'mancha Elohim chaim, Melech ozer, u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah.
Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah rav lehoshia, morid hatal, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofeh cholim, umatir asurim, umkayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha bal gevurot umidom elach, melech memit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua.
Michamocha El harachamim, Zocher yitzurav, L'chaim berachamim, V'ne'emanata l'hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol.
Page 634. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom ya'alucha selah. You are holy, your name is holy. Seekers of holiness praise you day by day, Selah. Baruch atah Adonai hamelech hakadosh. You are the source of blessing, eternal one, sovereign of the sacred. We're going to be standing for a long time. If you need to sit, now is a time when you could sit. Otherwise, feel free to sit whenever you want. On page 636. You chose us with love to be messengers of mitzvot, and through us you made known your aspirations. Among all the many peoples, you gave us a pathway to holiness. Among all the great nations, you uplifted us and made yourself our sovereign. And so we seek you and serve you and celebrate your nearness to our presence. Your great and sacred name has become our calling. Vatiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu ba'ahava et yom ha'kippurim hazeh lemichila u'leslicha u'lechapera lemichol bo et kol avonotenu mikra kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim. In your love, Adonai, eternal our God, you have given us this Yom Kippur, a day on which our wrongs are forgiven, a day of sacred assembly, a day to be mindful of our people's going out from Egypt. 638. Zochrenu Adonai Eloheinu bo letova.
Amen.
Eternal our God, remember us.
Amen.
Fuktenu bo livracha.
Amen.
Be mindful of us.
Amen.
V'hoshienu bo lechaim.
Amen.
And redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing.
Amen.
Turn to page 640.
The sun is setting, the gates are closing, the day is through. The sun is setting, the gates are closing, we're here with you. So keep open the gates. Keep open the gates for us. Keep open the gates. At the end of the day, Ptach lanu shar be'ed Neilat shar. Ptach lanu shar be'ed Neilat shar.
Page 644. El Melech Yoshev al Kiseh Rachamim mitnaheg b'chasidut. Though we wander and stray, your forgiveness grows as you pardon our wrongs one by one, doing what is right for every living being. In your mercy and love, do not treat us harshly for the harshness of our deeds. You teach us to proclaim your attributes, made known to Moses, man of humility, long ago. This day remember, for your sake, the covenant of your 13 ways, as it is written, and the Eternal descended in the cloud, stood with him there, and proclaimed, Adonai, Adonai, el rachum v'chanun, erech apayim, v'rav chesed ve'emet, notzer chesed la'alafim, nose avon, v'fesha, v'chata'a, v'nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, God, compassionate, gracious, endlessly patient, loving and true, showing mercy to the 1000th generation, forgiving evil, defiance, and wrongdoing, granting pardon. Page 648. Slach lanu avinu ki chatanu, chal lanu malkenu ki pashanu, ki ata Adonai tov salach v'rav chesed lechol korecha. Forgive us, Avinu, for we have strayed. Pardon us, Malkenu, for succumbing to sin. You are generous in granting forgiveness, all loving to those who reach out to you. Adonai, Adonai, arachum v'chanun, erech apayim v'rav chesed ve'emet, notzer chesed la'alafim, nose avon v'fesha v'chata'a v'nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, God, compassionate and gracious, endlessly patient, loving, and true, showing mercy to the 1000th generation, forgiving evil, defiance, and wrongdoing, granting pardon. Ahinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, salach lanu, machal lanu, kaper lanu. Our God and God of our fathers and our mothers, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement. Page 652. Eloheinu v'avotenu v'imotenu, tavo lefanecha tfilatenu, v'al tit'alem mitchinatenu. Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence, and when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong. On the facing page, we come to Ashamnu again, one more confession, one last confession on this day of Yom Kippur. We can beat our chests. We can pull the sins out of us. We can hold our hearts and comfort ourselves for each of the mistakes that we made.
Ashamnu.
Shamnu.
Gazalnu, Dibarnu Dofi,
Dibarnu Dofi.
Ay, 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 la, 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 ay, 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 ay. Heavinu,
He'evinu,
Vahir Shanu,
Vehir Shanu,
Zadnu,
Zadnu,
Hamasnu,
Chamasnu,
Tafalnu Sheker.
Tafalnu Sheker.
Ay, 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 ay. Yatsnu Ra,
Yatsnu Ra,
Kizavnu,
Kizavnu,
Latsnu,
Latsnu,
Maradnu,
Maradnu,
Niatsnu,
Niatsnu,
Sararnu,
Sararnu,
Avinu,
Avinu,
Pashanu,
Pashanu,
Sararnu,
Sararnu,
Kishinu Orev.
Kishinu Oref.
Ay, 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 ay. Rashanu,
Rashanu,
Shichatnu,
Shichatnu,
Tiavnu,
Tiavnu,
Tainu,
Tainu,
Titanu.
Titanu,
Ay, 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 ay.
Of these wrongs we are guilty. We betray, we steal, we scorn, we act perversely, we are cruel, we scheme, we are violent, we slander, we devise evil, we lie, we ridicule, we disobey, we abuse, we defy, we corrupt, we commit crimes, we are hostile, we are stubborn, we are immoral, we kill, we spoil, we go astray, we lead others astray. Turn to page 659. Recognizing that some of us spend too much time beating ourselves up for our mistakes and not enough time recognizing the good things we did this past year. So we offer Hakarat Hatov, recognizing the good. Ahavnu, Bachinu, Kamalnu, Dibarnu Yofi. We loved and we wept. We were kind and spoke thoughtfully. We were faithful and trusting. We put forth effort. We were mindful. We embraced. We took delight in the holy books. We were creative and we yearned. We fought for justice and searched out the good. We tried our best and we were attentive. We did what you commanded us to do. We found meaning in Torah, and most of the time, we did what is right. We proclaimed your name, and we were accepting. We were joyful, and we cared. Page 661, at the bottom. From this place of prayer and community, we will soon return to our homes. May we take with us the spirit of this day, Melech Chafetz B'chaim, sovereign God who treasures life. Help us turn our homes into havens of your love, sanctuaries of your compassion. Let them be shelters against the storm, dwelling places for all that is life-giving and good. Turn to page 662. So we offer Avinu Malkeinu one last time, and I will open the ark. Avinu Malkeinu, kabel berachamim uveratzon et tefilatenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, welcome our prayer with love, accept and embrace it.
Avinu Malkeinu, aseh leman rachamecha harabim.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for the sake of your boundless compassion.
Avinu Malkeinu, aseh imanu leman shmecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name.
Avinu Malkeinu, chotmenu besefer parnasa v'kalkala.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of sustenance and livelihood.
Avinu Malkeinu, chotmenu besefer zechuyot.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of worthiness and merit.
Avinu Malkeinu, chotmenu besefer slicha umchila.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of forgiveness and pardon.
Avinu Malkeinu, chotmenu besefer chayim tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of lives well lived.
Avinu Malkeinu, chotfenu besefer geula v'shua.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of redemption and renewal.
Avinu Malkeinu, maleh yadenu mebirchotecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, let our hands overflow with your blessings.
Avinu Malkeinu, p'tach sha'arei shamayim letfilatenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, let the gates of heaven be open to our prayer.
Avinu Malkeinu, chadesh aleinu shana tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew us for a year of goodness.
Avinu Malkeinu, ein lanu melech ele ata.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have no sovereign but you.
Avinu Malkeinu, chanenu va'anenu, ki ein banu ma'asim. Aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace when our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love. Avinu Malkeinu, chonenu va'anenu. Avinu Malkeinu, chonenu va'anenu, ki ein banu ma'asim. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, v'hoshienu. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, v'hoshienu.
You may be seated. Page 665. As the book of life is closed and sealed, open our hearts, open our hands. Let those who asked forgiveness and those who gave forgiveness depart this place in peace. Let all God seekers and soul searchers of this day depart this place inspired and renewed. Together, let us build a community of commitment. Let all of us be sealed this day, Gmar Chatima Tova, sealed for goodness and sealed for life, Besefer Chaim Tovim, sealed in the book of life and good, eager to taste life's sweetness, to enjoy the fruit of our labors, to bring light to the darkness and joy where sorrow dwells. Be sealed for a year of Torah and soulful searching. Be sealed for a year of kindness, good deeds, and love. As the book of life is closed and sealed, open our hands, open our hearts.
Peace peace will come, and let it begin with me. We need peace, and let it begin with me. Oh, my own life is all I can hope to control. Oh, let my life be lived for the good of my soul. Let it bring peace, sweet peace. Peace will come, and let it begin with me. Peace will come, peace will come, peace will come, and let it begin with me. Oh, my own life is all I can hope to control. Oh, let my life be lived for the good of the whole. Let it bring peace, sweet peace. Peace will come, and let it begin with me.
Page 670. Pitchu lanu sharei tzedek navovam nodeya. Open for us the gates of righteousness, that we may enter and praise the eternal source of life. Open for us the gates of sacred community, that we may enter and feel its healing power. Open for us the gates of truth and integrity, that we may enter and grow in faithfulness. Open for us the gates of devotion and principle, that we may enter and find enduring values and meaning. Open for us the gates of repentance and return, that we may enter and offer our best. Open for us the gates of forgiveness, that we may enter and offer our humanity. Open for us the gates of kindness and compassion, that we may enter and offer our love. We rise on page 672 for our concluding responses.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Adonai Hu HaElohim, 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 Adonai Hu HaElohim. Tekiah, Shavarim, Teruah, Tekiah Gedolah, L'shana haba'ah b'Yerushalayim, next year in wholeness. You may have a seat. We will conclude with Havdalah on page 674. La Kodesh lechol, chatotenu imchol, zarenu v'chaspenu, yarbekacho, v'chakochavim balayla. Shana tova, shana tova, shana tova, shana tova, shana tova, shana tova, shana tova. Rain and joy increase. A good year, a year of peace. Make gladness rain and joy increase. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu.
Thank you to our temple staff for making this possible in such difficult and extreme and curious circumstances. Thank you, Chava, for your beautiful leadership. And thank you, Rabbi Fine, for being on our team, on my team. Thanks for being on my team. Thank you all for being on our team. Shana Tova. I hope you have a delicious break fast. Go and take good care of those bodies because you have done good work on the souls today. Shana Tova.
to put one Adonai Ki Elohim in there. Like there are 7 of them. Let's mix it up a little bit.
There's plenty of pronouns.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, those are like the classic little vibes. But it's good to have it all. Mix it all up. Yeah.
Beautiful.
May we never wear these robes again, at least not for a year. Maybe never.
Maybe never. Can you hear us?
We'll be healthy and get to lead again together next year.
Yes.
Without masks and robes.
Yeah.
Unmasked and
Unmixed.
derobed.
I mean,
Getting wild.
there's good things.
Yeah.
Isolation.
I do like hiding behind a mask. Because I can cry back here. Nobody knows.
I can cry. I can say the Aliyah without saying Aliyah.
Incognito mode.
I can yawn.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. All the things. Just be kind of anonymous for a sec.
Yeah.
Perfectly timed. Thanks for all the work you did, Gali, with the outlines. Service was perfect.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Get some good selection.
I didn't miss any prayers. I wasn't like, oh, why didn't we do this one? I just felt like we did all the right stuff.
I saw that Danny's service last night was a good half hour longer than ours. So I was like, oh well.
Yeah.
This is what we did.
Ours
It
was
beautiful.
exactly right.
It was the right
Yes.
amount of time.
It was right for us. And thank you for from the get-go being like, we don't have to replicate what they're doing. We will do our own.
Why should we double down?
You do. I don't want that.
You're so good.
Amazing.
Not Tova.
Thank you. Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. It's a good idea.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. It's in there, so we might as well do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the thing. But that's a good point, though. Definitely. Exactly.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You did. You did.
Thank you.
John did great.
John did a
He did great.
beautiful
He
job.
always does.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll see you on
Let's just
Saturday.
go put these things back on the shelf.
Yeah.
We're gonna look at these next year and be like, look what we did.
Great.
Let's not change anything.
And I'll remember this is where I kept my copy of Psalm 23. I was looking for it all over the house and I was like, oh, it must be in my box.
Yeah. Good place to keep it. You won't lose it. You won't lose the
Exactly.
moxar.
Exactly.
It's impossible to lose.
All right.
Can I just leave this here?
Yeah. I can take it to my
Just
office.
give it to you right
Yeah.
now?
I'll hang it with the rest.
They did a great job. I don't know what it sounded like on the thing. It sounded good this morning, so.
Yeah.